I take huge inspiration from WhyLearn on this channel, and I recently watched his video where he breaks down the 10 things that ruin yourself in your 20s. As someone who's freshly turned 30, I found it would be fun to break down these steps and see how I stacked up. You should play along with me and see how you're doing as well, if you're on the right track, and how to possibly course correct if you need to. Number 10 was college. College is a popular path shoved down our throat by society at the youngest of ages, and it gets younger each generation. My 9-year-old niece is already talking about what colleges she'll be going to. The reality is that there's few fields which require a degree, and those fields are actually the exception to the rule, not the rule itself. For most of us, college exists as a debt trap to keep us enslaved to their system. If you can get some sort of degree or certification for free, then I encourage you to do so, but only as a means to bolster your resume. I was able to get an IT certification, which has been able to bump up my resume on any application, despite me not working in an IT field. Leverage college in your favor when and where you can, but avoid harboring a mountain of debt at all costs. All in all, I'd say that I avoided the societal trap that sets most young people up for failure right out the gate. I hope you've navigated the college trap well yourself, but so far so good for me, and my score for the 20s so far is a 1 out of 10. Alright, moving on to number 9, not paying attention to your money. Many of us don't pay any attention to our money until we start a family or just generally acquire a slew of new responsibilities. We don't often see how investing or just being aware of our money in our 20s puts you miles ahead of anyone else. Most 20-somethings have no emergency fund, don't see the point in it, and don't care to have one, and would rather blow their money being out on the town and living it up in their 20s. Although you don't have to be a miserable slob in order to be money smart in your 20s, both financially and socially. I invested mostly in property, as that's what made the most sense to me. However, stocks are another valid investment opportunity as well. Find your way and do something that makes sense for you. As a property owner of 3 properties myself by age 30, I'd say that I was well enough aware of my money to make a good shake at things. I hope that you are out there making good moves as well and investing intelligently, or at least working up a way to do so. So, again, that puts me at 2 out of 10 so far. Number 8 on WhyLearn's list of ways to ruin your 20s was excessive consumption. I actually have a whole video on consumption and the damages that it poses. This is in regards to financial consumption specifically, whereas my video dealt heavily more with media consumption. Overconsumption is going to make it impossible to gain any grounds independently and build your own wealth. It's important to note that, for one, I don't believe we should shut down all forms of consumption. After all, what good is financial comfort if you spent 30 years being miserable just to get there? That's no better than a 9 to 5 at that point. We all have media that we like to consume, and we all have things that we want to spend our money on. Just make sure that you're doing so responsibly and keeping your goals at the forefront of everyday decisions. I have a hefty music collection, and that's what keeps me going most days, but I spend responsibly so as not to impede on my goals and still maintaining my happiness. Again, I recommend you check out my video on the problems of consumption, as it goes into much more details on this problem, but so far, I'm still doing pretty good on WhyLearn's list. That's a 3 out of 10 for me, and I'm really knocking things out of the park. How are you holding up so far? Next up, number 7 is taking risks. Now here's where I'll take my first L on this list of successful behaviors to ruin a 20-year-old. I've always erred on the side of comfort over risk. As such, I've not taken near as many risks as I maybe should have. I certainly did take some risks. Investing in property is a definite risk, but one that feels safe in me being able to manage it. But that's really the only kind of risk that I took. Hopefully, you take more risks than I do. Doing so is a pivotal part of being in your 20s, and you'll have plenty of time to make up for them in the future should they blow up in your face. So go out there and take more risks than I did. If you haven't already, get at it, and don't be like me. Hopefully your 20s haven't already come and gone, and you realize that you've lived a risk-free life like I have. Well, even so, there's still hope out there for us, and welcome to the club. This leaves me at 3 out of 10 so far, my first loss. Let's move right along to number 6, wasting time. Wasting your time partying your brains out in your 20s or doing anything else that's not directly productive is something that's obviously going to create a problem. It sounds cliche, but it's not all just late nights and partying that we're wasting our time. This runs big into consumption as well, which I've already spoken about. You may not be partying hard every night, but you may be binging some show endlessly for hours that turns into weeks in a blink. That's just as bad. There's also the issue with video games as well. And again, it goes back to balance on this one. I went pretty hard in my 20s, worked 2 jobs, 65 hours per week, built my own house, wrote novels, and maintained a successful social life. I used to give myself a hard time thinking I could have done better with my time, but looking back at it, I'd say I did pretty well. But for you, I would just advise to be aware of the things that are not helping you reach your goals and limit the amount of time you spend on those things. Again, I don't think anyone should quit things cold turkey, especially if they get something out of their life for it, but you should be more aware of how you're spending your time and watch that consumption. Again, I cannot recommend enough my video on consumption. But all in all, I did pretty dang well with this one, so that puts me at a 4 out of 10, moving back up on the list. How are you doing out there? Alright, we are halfway through our list. Number 5, lust. Men, women, whatever you fancy, chasing them around in your 20s can be an absolute trap. So many people spend so many hours chasing the next thrill that they completely lose sight of anything going on around them. I've avoided this one so thoroughly that some would argue that I've created an issue in the opposite direction. I haven't been in a serious relationship since 2014, and honestly, I'm quite happy with myself in writing solo. It's certainly not for everyone, but before you give in to what society sells you in terms of having to have a better half, I'm here to tell you to take some time to seriously reflect on that at first. Get comfortable with you, then let someone in, or maybe choose not to. But you need to make that choice. Don't let the world pressure you into making it. But don't waste excessive time and effort chasing after people either way. It's just yet another thing that will distract you from your goals that you have in mind for building a bigger, better life for yourself. And that'll land me at a 5 out of 10. Where does that land you? Are you stuck in the trap of chasing people around? Well, dig yourself out if you are. Number 4, hanging out with the wrong crowd. Now, WhyLearn touches on the popular idea that we're just a sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. I personally disagree with that ideology, and I intend to put out a video addressing that entirely and more directly, but there is still something to be said about spending time with people who aren't invested in you, or are willing to watch you succeed. Some people are so insecure and conceited that your success will bring out some ugly green envy in their eyes, and then they will dedicate themselves to secretly sabotaging you. It's ugly, but it's true. A true bro will build you up and will understand when you pass on hangouts because you're taking time and you're going out there and cooking. I'm fortunate that I surround myself with a team of super bros who build me up constantly. And it's important that we reciprocate that treatment too. It's all too easy to lose sight of that when people are building you up and you're trying to do your own thing and build your own life and make it better. Be out there to be a good bro for someone else who's doing the same thing. So again, that's a 6 out of 10 for me. How about you? We're just working our way right on up this list. Number 3, we're getting down to the final 3 here now, the social media scroll. Social media is pretty critical in modern success, but again, as the repeated concept of this video, it all comes down to your consumption. Spend enough time on social media to build your own success, but do not spend so much time that you become lost in its vice. Post what you gotta post, engage with what you gotta engage with, and then log off and go do something productive with your day. Again, I have the opposite problem on this one. I don't do enough on social media to work and build my own brand properly, but that also means that I can avoid the doom scroll, which is kinda worth it in the long run. So again, I'd say I passed on this one. It's kind of wishy-washy, but it's good for me. What about you? How are your doom scrolling days? Are you spending too much time on social media unintentionally so? Well, I'm at a 7 out of 10 for now, and we're gonna keep on plugging away. Number 2 is your vices. We've all got them, but how we deal with them and how we handle them is how we differentiate ourselves from the rest of the people. Drugs, alcohol, and adult content are probably the 3 biggest vices out there. There's plenty more, but those are the most common ones, so those are the ones I would focus in on. With the advent of legal pot smoking, the drug vice is at an all-time high. I know so many potentially great people out there smoking all of that potential away. And I'm not saying that people who smoke pot are inherently bad people, but sometimes you need to put the thing down and be present enough to do something big. Same goes for all the vices here. Just because you fall victim to them does not make you the devil. If anything, it makes you human. Just learn how to control it. Bonus points if you can eliminate it completely, but I think control is all most of us can realistically expect to get out of ourselves. I do well enough with my vices, though I acknowledge that I could certainly do better. So I'll give myself a half point on this one, putting me at a 7.5 out of 10 rather than an 8 out of 10. How are you coming along? We're almost done with the list now, so if you're not passing, we're kind of in trouble. And I hope you can hold down your vices pretty well as well. Number 1 is going to be health. Your body can do a lot and put up with a lot in your 20s, but that'll quickly soar downhill all while you're not paying attention to it. So it's important to build good habits in your 20s so that they're easier to maintain in your later years. It's the basic stuff, eating good and staying active. You don't have to go full vegan or gym rat, just be good enough to be healthy and active. I didn't really start watching my health until I was in my later 20s, like 28 or so. I feel like I hit the gym and am active enough. I also feel like I eat healthy enough as well. I could take this either way for me, but I never really abused my health in that I was never very super inactive and I never ate really bad foods. So overall, I'll give myself the full point on this one, though I could swing it as another half point if I really wanted to. But I'm gonna say I'm at a solid 8.5 out of 10. That's a solid B for me, and something I can wear with pride, honestly. 8.5 out of 10 is pretty good. I only missed 2.5 points in the long run, and as someone who wasn't consciously living by these methodologies and ideologies and whateverologies, I would say that's pretty successful. So hopefully your score is of the passing variety as well, and I hope this was a fun little exercise for you to go through. But yeah, there you have it. WhyLearn's tips on living a successful life in your 20s. I recommend you go and check his video out as well. But I think we can all agree that a lot of these points come down to consumption. Consumption, again, is a video that I have already mentioned and mentioned a couple of times that you should go and check out. But at any rate, I think you could benefit from either video, his or mine, or maybe both if you've got the time. My books are available on Amazon, links in the bio if you want to check them out. I'd be forever grateful. I suggest starting with Dusty Little Wastelanders or anything published after that, as those feature my strongest writing yet. If you're still struggling with finding time in your day, or with consumption in general, then again I'm going to suggest this video to you, and I'll link it at the bottom here so it's real easy for you to find and click on and remedy that mess. Now go out there and start some changes, bud.
Final score, 0-3.